I was thinking today about the impact of Gen Z in our generation, and to be honest, those politicians, they trying to find connection with Gen Z, but it will never happen because Gen Z, they're not even interested in politics. Most of them, they are interested in so guys, this is Uganda. Look at this. This is Uganda, man. This is Uganda. It is Uganda. All right. This is UG, Uganda. Very beautiful country. Love the weather of Uganda. Love the food of Uganda. Excessive amount of food almost everywhere. I love the people of Uganda. I wonder why we don't collaborate more as Africans, because everywhere I go, I see resentment of my nation, my people. Here in Uganda, Entebbe looks like Mwanza in Tanzania. There's so many similarities when it comes to food and other stuff. I think Africans, we need to wake up and realize that Africa is one and we are one people. And the best thing we can do is to come together as a people. Not according to what politicians say, but can come together according to our identity. I was thinking today about the impact of Gen Z in our generation, and to be honest, those politicians, they trying to find connection with Gen Z, but it will never happen because Gen Z, they're not even interested in politics. Most of them, they are interested in knowing that someone is out there caring for them. All right, so it's not about politics, but it's about bringing about development, bringing about transformation. And once Gen Z sees that, then they'll tap into that moment. You see what happened in Kenya, what is happening in Madagascar, what happened in Nepal. They're not really interested in position, right? And leadership is not about position, it's about responsibility. And when you get to do your job, then Gen Z will be on your side. I remember during the time of Magufuli in Tanzania, the people were on his side. Why? Because they saw things were being done. And that's the only thing that people cared about. So Gen Z are not the problem. The problem is those who are in power and they don't do what they're supposed to do. And Gen Z, this is kind of like different kind of generation. They don't care about nothing. They don't care about death. They only care about transformation and to see change in the continent. That's what they care about. So if you want to bring about change, look at that. If you want to bring about change and if you want to stop Gen Z from protesting or doing whatever that seems to be not okay, you just need to bring about development. And that's it. Because that's what they want. They want to be in the country where they know that they're cared for. They have opportunities. System have been built for them. I've been in Rwanda. I always talk about this. The way that country is preparing system for the younger generation. When do you think they're gonna think about riots or demonstrating? No, they're very busy producing. They're busy innovating. They're busy doing all those stuff. They got no time to protest. And I think the same way we can do in different countries, you need to keep Gen Z busy. How can you keep them busy? By showing them opportunities, by showing them how they can tangle and actually mingling with those opportunities. You need to give them accessibility to be able to do that, right? You need to show them even how, by actually providing to them opportunities. Very important. They say you need all generation to work with younger generation, Gen Z. It's true, you need that. But if all generation, they don't show this opportunity, they don't show how, then Gen Z, they're gonna do it in their own ways. And one of the ways that you can show them how is by actually showing them opportunities, doing it and directing them into the right spaces, you know what I'm saying? And it's possible. So Gen Z are not rebellious, but we really need to show them opportunities for them to be able to do what they're called to do. And this is what politicians get wrong. They think this is the age of politics. No, it's not. Politics is not politicking anymore. The Gen Z, they want to see change. They want to see things being done, things being innovated. That's what they want to see. That's what they are interested on, you know, and nothing else. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a politician, if you're a leader in Africa, you know this. The only thing that will stop Gen Z from doing what they're doing in the countries across the continent of Africa is by bringing about development. They have to see it. They don't have to hear it. No, they have to see it. You know, if you do things, you know, whatever that you do can actually speak for yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to talk about them. You don't need to talk about them. People, they just see. They see what is happening. They know. But if you don't do, you talk a lot about the plans, you talk a lot about what you've done, but people, they don't see it. So if they don't see it, it's not their problem. You just need to keep on doing it until they see it. That's what you got to do. Right? So the issue of Gen Z is, I actually don't see it as a problem, to be honest. I don't see it as a problem. Because they're not rising up out of nothing. They're not saying that give us job because they don't have, because jobs are there, and they just say no. They say it because it's really there, and they see how it's affecting them. They see what kind of environment they grew up in. You know what I'm saying? Like, they see it. You can look at their families, you know, how they grew up. They're looking at their parents, kind of environment they're living in, and they're like, no, heck no, we don't want to see this. We are living in a world that is so much exposed. From Millennium, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, all of these guys, they came during the time of digital. All generation came through the time of analog. These are two different generations, two different ways of doing things. We cannot continue to do politics the same way we used to do. You know, we cannot keep intimidating, you know, younger people. They're not afraid of nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that they don't get. They're not afraid because they have nothing to lose. They know if you cannot fight for what is right, then we lose everything. Right? So this is just a suggestion to most of African countries, because I'm really passionate about the unity of the continent, and I think we can do it better by, you know, actually doing things and not limiting them. Because you cannot stop Gen Z. I'll tell you the truth, you cannot stop Gen Z. It is impossible to stop Gen Z. There are many more than you. You know what I'm saying? Today, the younger generation in the continent is over 70%, and the older generation, how are you going to stop that population? You ain't gonna be able to stop that, and that is the fact. So you have to come to our senses, understanding that, and actually providing more opportunities to Gen Z. That's the only thing that is going to stop Gen Z from riotings and, you know, doing all this stuff that we consider them to be bad, that they're not behaved enough. No. You go to Rwanda, they have a lot of Gen Z there, but why? They don't even think about rioting on the street. Because of what Rwanda has done to those Gen Z, because of how systems have been laid, because of the foundation that is down there for these guys. These guys, you know, they're busy innovating, they're busy creating, they're busy finding opportunities, they're busy doing all this stuff, you know. When are they going to think about rioting? When are they going to think about demonstrating? No, they got no time to do that. They only got time to work, and they're busy. I've been to Rwanda, they're busy 24/7. Keep them busy. Give them something to work for. Give them something to think for. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to riot. It's as simple as that. Free advice.